It's finally happening. After years of waiting, endless rumors, and one delay after another, Crazy Rich Asians 2 is starting to feel real again. And this time, we finally have our very first real look at where the story is heading. The biggest surprise? It isn't just about Rachel and Nick anymore. A completely different love story is stepping into the spotlight, and if you've been paying close attention since the first movie, you'll realize it was quietly teased all the way back in 2018. In today's video, we're breaking down everything we know so far, from the emotional romance that's about to take center stage to the huge story changes, returning cast members, and why fans are more excited now than they have been in years. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be covering every major update on the series as soon as it drops. Now let's get into it. The original Crazy Rich Asians wasn't just another romantic comedy. It became a worldwide phenomenon. Made on a budget of around $30 million, the film earned over $200 million globally and made history as the first major Hollywood studio movie in over 2 decades to feature an almost entirely Asian cast. Naturally, everyone expected a sequel to arrive quickly. Instead, fans spent years hearing promises without seeing much progress. Every few months, there would be another update, another rumor, another report saying the sequel was still happening, only for everything to go quiet again. But recently, something changed. After years of uncertainty, things finally started moving in the right direction. And interestingly, among all the glamorous characters from the first movie, there's one relationship that fans have never stopped talking about. Rachel and Nick received their fairy tale ending. Eleanor finally accepted Rachel. The engagement happened. Everything looked perfect. But hidden in the background was another romance that never truly got its ending. The movie hinted at it just enough for audiences to notice before quickly moving on, almost like the filmmakers were intentionally saving it for something much bigger in the future. And that's exactly where this sequel is headed. The upcoming story is expected to adapt Kevin Kwan's second novel, China Rich Girlfriend, shifting the action from Singapore to the ultra-wealthy world of Shanghai. And this isn't just a change of location. It's an entirely different level of luxury. The new setting introduces some of the richest and most influential families in China, people whose fortunes make even the young family seem almost ordinary. That also means several major new characters are expected to arrive, including Carlton Bao and Colette Bing, 2 larger-than-life personalities who bring even more drama, wealth, and chaos into Rachel's world. But despite all the new faces, the emotional heart of the sequel isn't really about money. It's about someone whose story quietly broke everyone's heart in the first film. Astrid. When we first met Astrid, she appeared to have the perfect marriage. But behind the designer dresses and glamorous lifestyle, her relationship with Michael was slowly falling apart. By the end of the movie, she chose to walk away with her dignity intact, delivering one of the film's most unforgettable moments. For many viewers, that felt like the end. But for readers of the books, it was actually just the beginning. The first movie secretly planted the seeds for Astrid's future with Charlie Wu. If you remember the mid-credit scene, Charlie appeared only briefly before disappearing almost immediately. It was such a small moment that many audiences completely missed it. But that appearance wasn't random. It was carefully placed to set up the next chapter of Astrid's story. Before we dive deeper into that romance, though, there's another massive twist waiting for Rachel herself. Throughout the first movie, Rachel believed her father was gone forever. It was one of the biggest emotional wounds she carried throughout her life. But China Rich Girlfriend completely changes everything. Rachel discovers that her biological father is actually alive. Not only that, but he's one of the most powerful and unbelievably wealthy political figures in China. Suddenly, Rachel goes from feeling like an outsider marrying into an incredibly rich family to discovering that she was connected to extraordinary wealth all along. It's the kind of revelation that completely transforms her identity. And the timing couldn't be more emotional. Just as Rachel prepares for the biggest day of her life, she's pulled into an entirely new family, a new world, and a society even more extravagant than anything she experienced before. Meeting relatives she never knew existed opens the door to secrets that could reshape everything she believed about herself. But even with Rachel's huge storyline, the reunion fans are most excited about still belongs to Astrid and Charlie. For years, the biggest question wasn't what would happen next. It was whether this sequel would ever happen at all. Thankfully, one cast member accidentally gave fans the confirmation they'd been waiting years to hear. Chris Pang, who played Colin Koo in the original movie, recently spoke openly about the project. Instead of avoiding the question like most actors usually do, he simply confirmed that the sequel is real. He explained that it's now moving forward as a television series for HBO, allowing the story to continue with all the characters audiences already know and love. According to him, the longer format gives every storyline much more room to grow. He even admitted he might get into trouble later for revealing so much, but by then, fans already had the confirmation they'd been hoping for. With this series officially moving ahead, everyone's attention immediately returned to that unfinished romance. Astrid and Charlie. Charlie wasn't just another side character. He was Astrid's first love. Long before Michael entered her life, Charlie and Astrid were engaged. But because of family expectations and social status, the relationship eventually fell apart. Charlie's role in the first movie was intentionally reduced to only a brief appearance because the filmmakers wanted to preserve the mystery for later. Now that later has finally arrived. In the books, Astrid reconnects with Charlie after her marriage completely collapses, and slowly, the two begin rebuilding the relationship they lost years earlier. It's a classic second-chance romance, but one filled with emotional baggage, family pressure, and years of unresolved feelings. One fascinating detail from the books is that Charlie secretly helped Michael succeed in business, believing that making Michael successful would ultimately make Astrid happy. He loved her enough to support her happiness, even if it wasn't with him. That sacrifice is one of the reasons fans have rooted for Charlie for so many years. If the series follows the novels closely, Astrid and Charlie eventually find their way back to each other after everything they've been through. For a character who spent so much of the first movie sacrificing her own happiness, finally choosing herself makes this one of the most emotional storylines in the entire franchise. And unlike Michael, Charlie never felt threatened by Astrid's wealth or status. He belonged to that same world. Their relationship was never about money. It was about timing. And now they may finally get another chance. Of course it won't be easy. Charlie's former wife, Isabel, is expected to create plenty of complications, making their reunion anything but smooth. As for when fans can finally watch all of this unfold, things are looking more promising than ever. Jon M Chu is returning to oversee the project, while Adele Lim is officially back after previously leaving over the pay dispute that delayed development years ago. Reports suggest the scripts have already been completed, with the team simply waiting for the official green light before cameras begin rolling. Henry Golding has also hinted that production could start very soon, and Jon M Chu has confidently stated that when filming begins, the original cast will be back. That means fans are hoping to see Constance Wu, Henry Golding, Gemma Chan, Harry Shum Jr., Michelle Yeoh, Awkwafina, and many more, returning to continue their stories. After nearly 8 years of waiting, countless delays, and more rumors than anyone can count, it finally feels like the world of Crazy Rich Asians is ready to open its doors once again. And if everything goes according to plan, this next chapter could end up being even bigger than the original.